The gloves are off. FIFA actually wants to sell the World Cup. The president, Jan Infantino, has completely lost his mind, folks. And this is absolutely not a joke. It is triggering a massive earthquake that is shaking the entire soccer world. Get this, Jan Infantino is planning to sell off chunks of the World Cup to private investors. A shady move that could rake in tens of millions of euros. Yes, seriously. They have already held closed-door talks with investors closely tied to Donald Trump's inner circle. Think about it. Right after the 2026 World Cup, it turns out that big-time American CEOs and powerful politicians suddenly woke up to the massive cash potential in soccer. They saw those packed stadiums, they saw how fans around the globe reacted and thought, wait, we need to get in on this. We have to dump serious money into soccer. And for Jan Infantino, his eyes obviously lit up with dollar signs. Now, the drama is just getting started. FIFA is issuing a brutal ultimatum. Pay close attention to this. Jan Infantino reportedly gave national federations a strict 53-day deadline to decide if they will back his wild plan to sell a chunk of the World Cup. Any soccer association that dares to reject this deal could be completely locked out of FIFA's massive new funding model. What is this? It is unbelievable. He is straight up blackmailing them. It is basically support me or drown. Unbelievable. This project aims to bring in over $10 billion in revenue while offering up to $30 million in funding to each individual federation. So, what exactly is the Mexican Federation going to do in this messy situation? They are going to take it. Trust me, as far as Mexico is concerned, they will absolutely accept this proposal. 100% guaranteed. There are just too many heavy interests involved here. You see, this 2026 World Cup is going to change absolutely everything. FIFA desperately wants the World Cup to be hosted right here in the United States every, 12 years. They are deeply invested in making that happen, like, extremely obsessed with the idea. Let's not kid ourselves here. You might love it or hate it, but the sheer purchasing power and consumer spending of the United States is absolutely brutal. No other nation on earth even comes close to it. To help you really grasp the scale of this, American consumer power is so unbelievably massive that the United States market alone often drives more economic weight than the rest of the world combined. That honestly tells you everything you need to know. This is precisely the main reason why FIFA is so incredibly eager to keep bringing future World Cups back to American soil. Meanwhile, the Mexican Football Federation is absolutely thrilled, because due to complicated visa regulations, FIFA will very likely search for a convenient co-host nearby, right? And well, maybe that will hand Mexico a few extra World Cup matches down the road. Games that Mexico, as a country right now, is clearly not fully equipped to host alone. But hey, who cares? Now, that is not even everything. Brace yourselves. FIFA President Jan Infantino is aggressively pushing a plan to sell commercial stakes in the World Cup directly to private corporate investors. This would happen through a brand new entity valued at $20 billion. But UEFA, the governing body of European soccer, instantly called this move a nuclear bomb. They have promised to fight it, arguing it crosses dangerous, unacceptable lines when it comes to governing the sport. Look, the bosses over at UEFA are also absolute criminals. I will just say it outright. I mean, we all know exactly why UEFA is suddenly pushing back so hard against this new FIFA plan. It is very simple. They are applying pressure because they want a much bigger piece of the financial pie. That is all it is. Seriously, that is the real game UEFA is playing. They just want to secure a much larger slice of the massive cake FIFA is trying to devour. Period. Moving on. We are getting breaking updates on this massive global scandal. Jan Infantino has officially given all 210 member federations a tight 53-day deadline to either approve or reject his proposal to sell 21%, watch out, of the commercial rights of the World Cup to a powerful group of private investors closely linked to allies of Donald Trump. Wow. Federations voting in favor will pocket $40 million. Those brave enough to oppose it will get a measly $10,000. Okay. The proposal passes if it gets backing from 106 federations. That is a scenario that looks highly likely right now. As of this moment, FIFA apparently already has the full backing of both CONCACAF and CONMEBOL, along with the African Federation, and they almost certainly have Oceania locked down as well. Now we wait to see what happens with Asia and Europe, where things are still totally up in the air. This vote could easily rewrite the future of the World Cup forever. Absolutely. But hold on, because that is not all. Pay close attention because this next part is a total bombshell. UEFA is actually considering a massive boycott of the tournament, threatening not to send a single European national team to the World Cup. Wow. All of this if FIFA and Jan Infantino decide to push forward with selling the tournament to private investors. Just to help you guys picture this. This means that for the next World Cup we would not see, I do not know, Germany. No England, no France either. Yes, exactly like that. No Mbappe, no Netherlands, and no Belgium either. Gone. I was about to say Italy, but honestly, Italy has not been around for quite some time now. But apparently, they want to expand to 64 teams. So maybe, just maybe, we might actually see Italy at the next World Cup. Well, we will see, right? Either way, the real point is that Spain and Portugal would be out too, and that is huge. Keep an eye on those two countries. Do you remember where the next tournament is being held? Of course, it will be hosted jointly by Spain, Portugal, and Morocco, while handing a few opening matches over to Uruguay, Argentina, and Paraguay to mark the historic centenary celebration. Remember, the very first official World Cup organized by FIFA actually took place all the way back in 1930 over in Uruguay. Just as a quick fun fact, 1930 is technically the first World Cup, but it was actually the third true World Championship. Since FIFA had already run the World Championship matches at the Paris 1924 and Amsterdam 1928 Olympic Games, Uruguay won both. That is exactly why they claim to have 4 World Cups today. But honestly, we should probably say they have 2 World Cups, but 4 overall World Championships, which explains those 4 stars on their crest. But let us move on. The football world caught fire today, and it was not over a match. The current president of FIFA, Jan Infantino, just announced a plan to create a private company valued at $20 billion to run tournaments like the World Cup and the Club World Cup. This brand new entity would be called FIFA Ferrar Enterprise. According to FIFA, they want to raise up to $4.2 billion this year, selling minority stakes to private investors with JP Morgan advising. And here is the juicy detail. One of those key investors is the Kushner family. Not Alare directly, but rather his brother Joshua. Joshua Kushner, brother to Donald Trump's son-in-law, is the guy deeply interested in investing in this massive world tournament. As it turns out, he is married to supermodel Karlie Kloss, who just happens to be one of Taylor Swift's absolute best friends. Quite interesting, right? But let us continue. Through his firm, Triveternal. But we all know exactly who Trump's son-in-law is, so that political connection is crystal clear, clear as day. Let us be totally clear. Jan Infantino is very, very interested in making this happen. When they saw the ridiculous amount of money that a World Cup, or rather, multiple World Cups could eventually generate right here in the United States, his eyes lit up immediately. He saw an absolute goldmine. That is why I guarantee you, get ready for way more tournaments in the United States. This was truly just the beginning. Get used to these kinds of moves. Take that 64-team format because yes, FIFA is actively pushing for a 64-country tournament. Have you ever wondered why? Obviously, more countries mean more revenue, but that is not all FIFA cares about. They desperately want both China and India, the 2 most populated nations on Earth, in the tournament. FIFA wants to make sure China is always at the World Cup. And please, do not be shocked if China is selected to host the World Cup in 2042. Seriously, do not be surprised if that happens. By the way, do you remember just how corrupt Joseph Blatter, the former FIFA president, actually was? Who knew that years later, a guy even worse than Blatter would take over? Incredible. Well, we live in a crazy world. The beautiful game as we know it is dead. Period. Ladies and gentlemen, see you in the next one.